everyone, this is part 2 of lesson 4 in our welcome module. As you know, Wit and Wisdom has content stages that take us through reading a text, and we have craft stages that help us learn to write about text. When we use the word content, we're talking about learning from reading, and when we use the word craft, we're talking about writing or speaking. Craft is a skill. It's something that you can get better at with practice and over time. Our first craft stage was examine. During this stage, we looked at an exemplar, and specifically an exemplar of how to combine sentences. We thought about why combining sentences was an important and effective skill for a writer. Then we worked at the experiment stage. This is where we got the opportunity to experiment or try out writing and combining sentences. I've been telling you about my great Aunt Sophie and how I learned to make lasagna by watching her. She's a master chef. I watched her and then I experimented and tried it out myself. A time came when it was my turn to make the lasagna for a holiday dinner all by myself. This was my time to execute. This is the same with writing. There comes a time when people need to execute. Maybe it's a scientist who needs to write to explain a new discovery that she made. Or maybe it's a museum curator who needs to write a piece of text that would go under a photograph or an artwork. It could be someone who's writing paragraphs for a company's website. When I had my first holiday dinner, I was much more careful. I had to really make sure that I was being just precise and right because it was the first time I was executing. Well, those website designers and those scientists who are also writing have to do this as well. They have to be clear because they want to make sure that they're conveying just the right idea to their audience. This is the work that happens during the execute stage. We learn how to execute on or do what we've been practicing. Today's craft question is, read it with me, how do I use combining sentences in a paragraph about the photograph? I have a task for you. I want you to imagine that the Metropolitan Museum of Art, that's where the photograph is on display, has asked students from across the country, that's you, to write about the essential meaning of the photograph from what they took away. You're going to need to send them a paragraph to show that you know what the essential meaning is. And guess where you're going to start? You're going to start with your quick write from part 1 of this lesson. You're going to have a chance to combine sentences from your quick write so that you can do a better job of expressing your essential meaning to the audience. We've discussed how combining sentences has some effects. Let's review those. First off, your writing is going to flow better. It's much less choppy. It also helps to make the connection between ideas clearer to your reader. Remember, you're writing for a reader. Your writing is also clearer and concise. You use fewer words. We also learned 2 ways that we could combine sentences. Dig in your brain. Do you remember those? What was the first way? The first way was to use commas to make a list. We learned that sometimes writers take ideas from a few sentences and add them as a phrase in another sentence and separate those ideas using commas. Do you remember what the second way to combine sentences was? What was it? All right, use a conjunction. We learned that writers sometimes use conjunctions. Words like and, but, because, also, so that they can join 2 sentences together. Now let's see how combining sentences works when you are using it for a paragraph that's meant for others to read. Begin thinking about how to rewrite that quick write that you wrote in part 1 so that you could send it to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Try it out. Look at least 2 places you could combine sentences. Pause the video now so that you can execute and try it yourself. Make sure to pause long enough so that you can rewrite your ideas about the essential meaning, focusing on combining sentences. You'll notice that I have 2 examples for you up on the screen to help you. Pause that video. Okay, so you should have taken your quick write and you should have combined sentences using conjunctions and or commas. Let's see how you did. When I say go, you're going to read the original sentence and your new sentence out loud. And you're going to think, how did you do? Does your sentence flow better? You're going to pause the screen and do that now. Go. All right, if your sentence flows better, give yourself some snaps. Let's do it again. You're going to look at the ideas that you were trying to share now. Does the way that you combine the sentences make the thinking and connections clearer for your reader? Think about it. Pause the screen. All right, if your sentence makes the connections clearer for your reader, give yourself a few more snaps. The last one. Does your sentence use fewer words to convey the same ideas? If so, this time, you're going to stand up and take a bow. Very nice work. Writing sentences that flow, that are clear and concise, is an important, effective writing technique. Guess what? We've completed the 3rd craft stage, executing. Oh, yes, we did. And now, actually, you know what? We've completed the 4th craft stage. Nope, 3rd, execute. Tomorrow's the 4th. And we've completed it by thinking about combining sentences. I want you to stop and think. Which of the 2 different ways we learn to combine sentences did you use in your writing today? Did some of you use conjunctions? Did some of you use commas? In our next lesson, which will be our final lesson in our welcome module, we will work through that last craft stage. That's the 4th one. In the Excel stage, we will take a look at what we wrote to see if we can improve it, and specifically, how we can improve the skill of combining sentences. This concludes our 4th lesson together. In our next lesson, get ready to celebrate what you've learned and excel with our craft. I'm looking forward to it. Remember, any questions, you can email them to info@greatminds.org. Thank you for learning with me today. Take care, and I'll see you next time.